Well, this is another packed, globe-trotting episode of KingOhger. Gira getting shafted to the background already because with Jeremy here,
the king has returned.
So, as narrator of the show, Jeremy continues the trend of speaking directly to you, but not to the kings, which they have a problem with. But one facial to Himeno later, and I lost my train of thought.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh?
That did it. He tells them that the legends they've been following were all written by him. But what about that Ragnarok prophecy? Yep, that's all him as well. But does anyone believe him? Nope, not even spitting Himeno. So of course, Rita's gotta arrest that Spider-Man. Jeremy thinks they should just give him a test to prove his claims, but Rita is just too quick to judge. So while the Bugnarok keep with the physical bodies of the shoe gods, we get wholesome Morphonia moments. And the trial begins. He's got to give those deets about himself, but of course, what writer spoils the ending during the press release? Rita ain't got time for the details and just wants answers. But listen here, we're only at episode 12, and if we get all the details this early, we're gonna crash and burn before the ship even leaves the dock. So Jeremy goes to explain how is it that God Scorpion was even in Gokhan, because he did it and then wrote about it. So now, it just got interesting. Also, here's Lebowski, hanging with Raculus, nothing to see here except not. We find out why it is that he keeps going to that man and vice versa. He's been Raculus's lapdogs for the sake of his younger sister, whom Raculus seems to have possession of. Bro, I said this before, and I'll say it again, but Raculus is a dick. So now back to the globe-trotting adventures of the penis mightier. I mean, the pen is mightier. Off to Encasopa to get that shock treatment lie detector. But let's test it out. Himeno is superior to Rita! Ahaha! Hibiki's still on timeout for that shitty rhyming, so don't expect any interference from him this week. So, Jeremy, of course, continues to show that he's not lying, with no one continuing to believe him. Thus, R.I.P. Shiokara! Yan was just too hard-headed, just like that man Gin. Oh, who's Gin? Just the guy that Yanma got his knack of computers from. But where did he get his from? Jeremy. Jeremy is the real reason why they're able to pilot and modernize the shoe gods. He's been laying the seeds for everyone to follow. Humans, it was to revive the KingOhger, and the Bugnarok, it was the location of the greater shoe gods. But why help both sides? Well, better ask later because Butler ninjas are on the loose. Taking Jeremy back to where he shot his load the first time, only to get that spat rejection, Himeno. But he's made it up to her by gifting her that Scorpy medal. But for real, what's his deal? Well, Morphonia's got the deets, and he's really...
SPIDERMAN!
Not that one, but close. He's been popping up every few decades to centuries, just talking to folks, teaching them things. Why?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
So, let's keep playing jumping to conclusions, because Lebowski shows up accusing Jeremy of being a Bugnarok, especially since he didn't actually beat Deathnarak and it was all just a fake. So now everyone just jumps to conclusions when the Bugnarok attack. So Jeremy goes to handle the business. This, of course, just makes everyone continue jumping to conclusions. But come on, y'all. Are y'all really this dumb? He's been trying to give you all the answers without giving you all the answers. As someone that's in management, I usually try to lead my employees to find the solutions to things without having to spell things out and just guide them there. So, I completely understand. They gotta look at the subtext, the bylines, the in-between. What's not said but implied. See, look, Gira's about to have that brain... Oh my god, what the fuck? Okay, look, just Just tell their ass, Jeremy, at this point. That's right, there was a sixth hero. However, this man went bug wild and had a kid, and that kid was Jeremy. Half human, half Bugnarok. He lives in the in-between of society, not having a proper place to fit in. So, his goal is to see the world actually has all society coexist. He wants to be the king of it all for that purpose. So of course, everyone is a simpleton when it comes to all this and just lets him be. But that's when Deathnarak shows up, pulling a Time Force Rancic, so it's time to... Ooh, that jingle hitting. This might be the beat too. What the hell was that? Taking on Deathnarak with a fake out after fake... Ooh, that crotch shot though. Really? Really? Y'all wilding this episode. This is almost like watching Dom Brothers level of goofy right now. But with each fake out moveset, one thing was real. That poison. As such, everyone has bent the knee to their new king.
He's a fake. He's full of stickum. Catch him in the act.
With this episode of KingOhger, we get the debut of Spider-Kumanos. And with that, let's talk forms. There's a line Yanma says during the transformation implying that he didn't make that suit. Does that mean that the suits currently used by the KingOhgers were actually a manufacturing of Yanma? It would make sense given everything that we've learned from this episode, but that would also mean that Spider-Kumanos' design is all Jeremy ingenuity. Really, this is the best suit out of the show thus far, since it really does give me more coloration than the base Sentai set, giving an abundance of white but mixed in with black and gold. His emblem in general has a bit more of a tribal pattern to it, so you can feel the age in it, with the top appendages of the spider design on the chest looking like pipes. And of course, Jeremy's all about laying down some pipe. I'd say that he's probably the best designed 6 Sentai suit since Lupin and Pat Ren X in Lupin Ranger. Rating time! It's funny that this episode gave us the usual globe-trotting exploits you'd see from a Gira Revelation episode, but instead, it's all about Jeremy. We get the dash of goofy, innuendos, fourth wall breaks, and a suit that just is, chef's kiss. As such, this is going to be getting the Sononi S Plus Maximum Thirst.
I want Spider-Man!
They really crammed a whole lot into this episode while also revealing things on the forefront. The Bugnarok's insider was just Jeremy, since he hid all the items and wrote the legends. He knew just what to tell them, but another thing is, since he wrote the mythos and the prophecy, the Bugnarok really were just faithful and stayed hidden for 2,000 years just because this guy said so. It really shows the power of words and faith can really have on some people, which is why his concept of flipping the world on its head isn't so far off. Jeremy made it appear that there are more of his kind out there, meaning that human interbreeding with Bugnarok has been a thing and that their kind has just been tossed aside or living in secret. Of course, over the time of 2,000 years, it's completely possible that some of these bloodlines even got more one-sided in appearance, but might share attributes. You get where I'm going with this? There might be some mixed lineages within the world itself. Rita even hints to this being one of their traits. Since we don't know about the whole eye thing, but it could be some relation to a similar background. Gira Shugad talking might be another thing as well, being all related to these background events. So they really just opened up a whole new world of plot points and society breakdowns by exposing this new in-between society to the cast. So now with it, we see that Jeremy is trying to force coexistence. But it's not to say that we haven't seen similar attributes before. Like I said, Deathnarak had a bit more of a Darth Vader-esque approach when talking to Gira in previous episodes. Meanwhile, Raculus doesn't seem like the type to really fuck around with Bugnarok enough to know actual chill. Another thing to note is that Jeremy has been mobile this entire time. Literally has been laying the foundation for everything thus far. Essentially, teaching Gin, Yanma's master, what he knew until it was perfected to the point to what it's gotten to today. But it all came from studying his shoe god. So that raises more questions of what he was doing 15 years ago during the Fury of the Gods. I'm not saying that Jeremy was the hooded guy because I'm not in that camp, but he might have some idea to who it could possibly be. Now comes another major note. The Boski has a sister, and Raculus has her? So it's all been negotiation chips and the real reason why he's been all buddy-buddy with him. I'm curious to see how they will debut, and if the background detail will be in one of the Raculus Secrets episodes. Either way, that starts giving us a little bit more on the Boski's end of the story, which makes me curious on how this would end up paying off, as I would assume his younger sister would probably be as old as the majority of the cast, so like a mid-20s. Could his sister become the 7th Ohger? Or will something happen to the Boski and then his sister actually replaces him as a new Hachi-Ohger? Now that's stuff that we haven't really seen in Sentai in a while, having one cast member get replaced for another one in a permanent cast sense. Come on now, I watched Dom Brothers. There really is a lot to unpack regarding what we've gotten this week when it comes to just one-liners here and there, like how I mentioned the thing about the suits being made by Yanma earlier. But I hope that we get proper planned off payoffs, and let's hope that the writer's initial intentions do not get skewed by rewrites at the toy maker's requests. So, what did you think about this week's King Spider? Jeremy spitting that web, Himeno spitting that web, and that jingle. Anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, bye.